Good morning and welcome to the 18th Annual BC Natural Resources Forum. We're delighted that you could join us today through this virtual format. I'm Sarah Weber, President and CEO of C3 Alliance Corp and Chair of the Forum Advisory Committee. We would like to acknowledge that the virtual conference, while broadcasting across the province and Canada, is produced within the area we know today as Vancouver as well as Prince George. The studios are located in the traditional territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations and the Lheidli First Nation, respectively. We honor their language, culture, and history. Before we begin today's session, I want to provide you with a few quick details about Whova, the platform we are using. The Whova platform you are logged into now will be live and open for networking and engagement up to the end of the day on Thursday, January 28th. Refer to the agenda on the left side of your page to log into the live sessions. And we encourage you to check out the sponsor hall, the virtual trade show, which are featured on the main page of both the web and the mobile app. For more information about how to get the most out of the virtual conference, please visit the main page and download the detailed instructions. Now I'd like to start off by thanking the Forum Advisory Committee for putting together an extremely topical and thought-provoking program. The theme of this year's forum is building and maintaining a resilient natural resource sector. In this uncertain environment, resiliency is really the watchword for 2021. Throughout the pandemic, businesses of all stripes have had to maintain a careful balancing act between protecting lives and saving livelihoods. And as we start to see the light at the end of the tunnel, our dynamic resource sector is well positioned to lead the post-pandemic economic recovery. Over the next 3 days, we can look forward to frank discussions from our speakers and panelists on the unprecedented challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. We will examine resiliency in our supply chains and how interconnected our rural communities and our urban centres are, both across BC and Canada. In addition to our panels on forestry, energy, and mining, we'll be hearing from Indigenous leaders on building positive working relationships through the implementation of UNDRIP. We'll discuss the growing role of women in the resource sector along with the barriers and benefits of gender diversity. And we'll explore the game-changing technologies and innovation that are leading the charge to net zero energy production and digitally enabled productivity gains in resource development. Finally, BC's key ministers will outline their roadmap for economic recovery at the popular Ministers' Roundtable. Well, there's a lot to look forward to over the coming days, starting right now with our opening speakers. It's my pleasure to introduce this morning's speakers. Dayi Pountney, Lheidli First Nation, Todd Doherty, Member of Parliament for the Cariboo-Prince George, Shirley Bond, Member of Legislative Assembly, Prince George and Valemount, and Lynn Hall, Mayor, City of Prince George.
Good morning. I'm Dayi Pountney, sitting here in beautiful Lheidli territory. I see C3 is putting on another great event, and this year they'll be hosting from the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations territories, which is a beautiful area. I visit there quite often. This year we can't have this in person, which it's a hindrance for sure, but I'm really happy C3 is actually putting this on to get everyone together once again and to discuss a lot of important topics that affect us all. I'd like to actually first say that I can't be there this year down south, obviously the COVID restrictions, but I will be talking to some industry partners up here as I usually do. This event gives everybody the chance to kind of meet everybody else within industry. So what I mean by that is First Nations looking after their territory, meeting with industry partners that suit their needs to look after their natural resources in a sustainable manner or the manner they see fit. So I would like to see this obviously keep moving. I hope next year we can all meet in person. And from that, I bid adieu, and I hope everybody enjoys this conference.
Good morning. I'm Todd Doherty, Member of Parliament for Cariboo-Prince George, and I'm honored to be able to kick off and address you virtually the 18th Annual BC Natural Resource Forum. This event has become the largest and most important natural resource forum in Western Canada. Now, I may be biased, but I believe it's the best in our nation. Not even a global pandemic can stop us. So thank you to the organizers and to everyone who will be speaking and participating. Over the next 3 days, there will be concrete discussions on the challenges and opportunities unfolding in our natural resource sector. Here in British Columbia, whether it is softwood, oil and gas, or our world-leading agriculture and seafood products, we need to ensure our producers can compete and get their goods to market. Our region is no stranger to adversity and tough times. trade disputes, harmful policy, infestations, wildfires, and flooding have caused unimaginable devastation. And sadly, our natural resource sector is continually threatened by organizations whose sole purpose is to shut down, tarnish, or damage Canadian industry. Nowhere those impacts of industry challenges felt more acutely than here at home in rural communities throughout our nation. Approximately 1.8 million Canadians are employed either directly or indirectly through our natural resource sector. These are hardworking Canadians who depend on these jobs to put food on the table, provide a roof overhead, and financial stability for their families. We have just come through perhaps the most challenging year in generations. A global pandemic that has led to tens of thousands of job losses, shuttered businesses, and financial uncertainty for many, many Canadians. To rebuild post-pandemic, a strategic focus must be on championing Canada's diverse natural resource sector. We need a champion. Canada's natural resources are a vital component of our economic prosperity, and they're key to our post-pandemic recovery. As leaders, we must develop and articulate policy that protects Canadian jobs, that builds confidence, and strengthens Canada's competitiveness. Policy that is developed through thorough engagement with all stakeholders. Throughout the existing and previous parliamentary session, my colleagues and I have fought hard for our natural resource sector, pressing government to secure a new softwood lumber agreement, which 5 years later, we still do not have. Championing Keystone XL and the future of the most innovative and ethical oil and gas industry in the world. Sadly, as one of his first acts as president, President Joe Biden killed the Keystone XL pipeline through an executive order just last week, a move that immediately saw the loss of over 2,000 Canadian jobs and the loss of tens of thousands of future jobs, devastating thousands of Canadian families who have already been badly hurt by the economic crisis. Keystone XL is a project of national significance that supports countless workers on both sides of the border. At a time when both countries need to focus on job creation and strengthen bilateral relations, the Prime Minister must immediately reach out to our American neighbors and stand up for working Canadians. We know that Canadian natural resource industries are global leaders. Any Canadian resources prevented from reaching markets are ultimately replaced by resources from countries with poor records on human rights and poor records on the environment. We should all be proud to champion our energy sector and the hundreds of thousands of Canadians it employs. We need to champion our natural resource sector. I think you can see by my comments today that I believe in our natural resource sector, and I'll continue to be that champion and fight for this sector. I wish you all an engaging and productive week ahead, and I hope I'll see you all in person at the 2022 BC Natural Resource Forum next year. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 BC Natural Resources Forum. I want to recognize that I am on the traditional territory of the Lheidli First Nation, and I very much appreciate the constructive work that we've been able to do together. This annual event is always an important date on our calendars here in Prince George, and we miss having you all here in person. That being said, I want to thank the Advisory Committee and everyone involved in organizing this opportunity for adapting and finding an innovative way to guarantee that we could all come together, albeit virtually, to keep this important event now in its 18th year going strong. While I hope we'll all see each other again in person in 2022, let's make the most of this digital format and celebrate the fact that this year's Natural Resources Forum will be convenient and even more accessible to participants from across our province and beyond. The COVID-19 pandemic has had serious impacts throughout British Columbia and around the world. It has impacted the daily lives of all of us and the livelihoods of countless people in every corner of our province. And our natural resources sector is no exception. COVID-19 has led to health orders that have restricted the number of workers at major resource projects such as Coastal GasLink, LNG Canada, Site C, the Trans Mountain Pipeline, and Rio Tinto Camano. All while annual average employment in forestry, fishing, mining, quarrying, oil and gas is down 3,900 people compared to 2019 and over 9,000 people compared to 2017. While monthly employment is on the rise as of late, the larger trend shows resource employment trending downward. So this year's forum theme, Building and Maintaining a Resilient Natural Resource Sector, has never been more important than it is today. As governments and businesses all around the globe turn their attention to crafting and shaping the post-COVID world, it is vital that we continue to ensure that British Columbia and our natural resources sector have an important role to play in that future. Because a strong, vibrant natural resources sector will continue to be central to BC's success. The work you do helps keep our economy strong and supports critical services, including the hospitals, the healthcare workers, and others on the front line who are fighting this pandemic on our behalf as we speak. And the work you do also helps keep government and the private sector driving for innovation, increasing the need even more for skilled workers and a high-tech workforce. So I hope that as we meet and have productive discussions over the next few days about the important issues facing the natural resource sector, that you know that our caucus and team will be engaged and looking forward to working with you in the coming months and years as we all grapple with the post-pandemic realities that everyone is facing. And of course, my greatest hope is that you have a safe and healthy 2021 so we can all see each other here in Prince George next year for what I'm sure will be another world-class Natural Resources Forum. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Lynn Hall, Mayor of Prince George. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the virtual 2021 BC Natural Resources Forum. And I'm speaking to you today from the Blake Production Studio in Prince George on the traditional territory of the Lheidli Tenay. This forum is one of the most high-profile natural resource conferences in Canada, typically attracting over 1,000 delegates, including CEOs, elected officials, and experts involved with Canada's natural resource industries. The fact that Prince George is the forum's long-established host reinforces our role as a centre of growing and progressive resource development. With billions of dollars in major projects proposed and ongoing for central and northern BC, Prince George is and will continue to be an important provider of labour, supplies, technology, expertise, and innovation for all resource sectors. Prince George is home to numerous mining supply companies that provide more than $250 million worth of materials, goods, and services to BC mines. Prince George's location at the intersection of Highway 16 and 97 and our rail connectivity make it an ideal location for manufacturing, distribution, transportation, and warehousing in support of the resource sector. Coastal GasLink has a 670-kilometer pipeline under construction that will deliver natural gas from Dawson Creek to a liquefied natural gas terminal in Kitimat. In addition, construction of the LNG Canada terminal in Kitimat provides significant opportunities for small to medium-sized contractors and suppliers. Prince George businesses are contributing transportation, professional and financial, and supply services to these projects. These examples from forestry, mining, and energy demonstrate Prince George's ability to foster diverse investments in the natural resource sectors. Construction in our city is everywhere. In 2019, we set a building permit record of over $230 million. And in 2020, we were only $5 million off our 2019 record. The greatest percentage of that investment is with the private sector. And for me, the investment by the private sector certainly shows confidence in our economy here in Prince George and in the north. Our economy is diversified, it is resilient, so where does the road lead us? You might have noticed that I haven't yet talked about COVID-19. the pandemic has been a huge challenge for our local, provincial, and world economies. From my perspective, municipalities will play a key role alongside the resource sector in British Columbia's COVID-19 Economic Restart Program. We are positioned in BC to lead the economic restart for the province with the natural resource sector. The importance of our resource sector is highlighted in the City of Prince George's 2020 to 2025 Economic Development Strategy, which focuses on business growth within 5 areas. And those areas are forestry, transportation, manufacturing, professional services, and construction. These areas were chosen because they are already strong components of our local economy. And what is exciting is that the potential for growth and collaboration in these sectors is truly unlimited. For all of you, once again, welcome to the virtual BC Natural Resources Forum for 2021. We hope you enjoy it. We know you'll be able to reconnect with colleagues. Thank you very much once again for participating.
Thank you for tuning in to our welcome remarks. We are so glad that you've joined us for the 2021 Forum, and we hope that you enjoy the event. Now at this time, we've asked that you please return to the agenda and select the next session to view the live stream, a keynote from Regional Chief Terry Teegee.